Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about something that affects millions of taxpayers, and a lot of times you might not even realize it's happening. We're talking about the PATH Act, and it might just be the reason you're waiting a little longer for your tax refund this year.
So, it's that time of year, right? You've done the hard part, you've filed your taxes, and now you're glued to that refund tracker. Maybe already making plans for that money. We've all been there, just waiting for that deposit to hit. But here's the kicker. What if I told you that even if you filed on day one, there's a law out there that could just slam the brakes on your refund? It sounds frustrating, I know, but there's a really specific reason for it, and that's what we're going to break down right now.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll get into why your refund might be delayed. Then, we'll explain what the PATH Act is all about. We'll figure out who is directly affected, understand why that extra weight is even a thing, and then wrap up with some tips for filing smarter this year.
Okay, so let's say you filed, you're checking the status, but nothing's moving. Your first thought might be, did I mess something up? Well, good news, you probably didn't. This is actually all part of the plan. Let's dig in. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't some glitch in the system. It's totally intentional. That delay is actually a security measure, a law that's there to fight fraud and, believe it or not, protect taxpayers just like you. And the law that's making all this happen? It's called the PATH Act. The best way to think about it is like an essential security checkpoint at the airport before your tax refund. It's got to get cleared before it can take off. So what exactly is this thing? The PATH Act is short for the Protecting Americans from Tax Hikes Act. And really, the whole point is to give the IRS some breathing room to double-check everything, making sure that refunds for certain big credits are going to the right people and not to scammers. And this slide really shows you the before and after picture and why this is such a big deal. See, before the PATH Act, tax fraud was out of control. Crooks were using stolen Social Security numbers to file fake returns and grab refunds. Now, with the PATH Act, that extra verification step is like a shield, protecting your identity and making sure the system works correctly.
Okay, so you're probably asking, does this delay apply to me? To everyone? And the short answer is no. The PATH Act is really targeted. It focuses on returns that claim specific credits that, historically, have been major targets for fraud.
These are the two big ones you need to look out for: the Earned Income Tax Credit, or EITC, and the Additional Child Tax Credit, the ACTC. If you claim either of these, then, and this is super important, your entire refund gets put on hold. Not just the credit part, the whole thing. And here's the key takeaway on timing. Even if you are the first person in the country to file your taxes, the law literally says the IRS they are not allowed to send out your refund before the middle of February. That date is hardwired into the system.
So, what's actually happening during this extra wait? Is your return just sitting in a digital pile somewhere? Nope. There's a whole process going on behind the scenes, an active security check.
This checklist here really pulls back the curtain on what's going on. The IRS gets your return, and then they start matching things up. They're comparing the income you reported with the info your employer sent in on your W-2. They confirm your identity, they make sure you actually qualify for the credits you claimed, and only then do they approve and send out the refund.
Okay, so we've established the delay is mandatory for some folks. You can't skip it. But that doesn't mean you have zero control. This brings us to the final and maybe most important part. What can you do to make this whole process as smooth as it can be? Look, the best way to avoid any other delays, the unforced errors, is to get organized before you file. Get all your W-2s and 1099s together. Then double-check, and maybe even triple-check, all the numbers. Just one wrong digit in your Social Security number or your bank account, man, that can cause a massive headache that has nothing to do with the PATH Act.
So, once that mid-February date hits and the floodgates open, you want to make sure your refund gets to you ASAP. How do you do that? It really comes down to two simple things. Number one, file electronically. E-filed returns are just way faster than paper. And number two, choose direct deposit. The money goes straight into your account, no waiting for a check in the mail.
At the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. You can't do anything about the PATH Act hold. That's set in stone. But you can control everything else. Taking that extra time to be prepared and accurate is the absolute best thing you can do for a stress-free tax season.
So, next time you're checking that refund status and feeling a little impatient, maybe think about the bigger picture here. The PATH Act is a trade-off, right? A short delay for some people in exchange for way more security for everybody. It really leaves you with a final question to chew on. Is that extra financial security for the entire system worth the personal wait for you? Thanks for tuning in.